All right, today we're opening up a classified file on a real-life architectural mystery. We're stepping straight inside a high school in East Java, where the line between a very real historical tragedy and the paranormal has just completely vanished. This is an explainer of the dark, colonial history that actually brought international investigators knocking on the school's doors. So let's jump right in and uncover the secrets buried beneath the floorboards.
Now, you've really got to wonder, how does a prestigious, highly sought-after high school become the site of literal, unerasable bloodstains? And how exactly did these physical anomalies trigger a massive, high-tech international investigation back in 2006? Well, to understand the haunting, we first have to investigate the architecture itself.
When new students first walk onto this campus, honestly, they're blown away. We're talking about this gorgeous European cinematic aesthetic, massive, thick Dutch pillars, long sweeping corridors, sky-high ceilings, and these grand wooden windows that catch the breeze perfectly. But then you walk into the student bathrooms in the older building, and the doors aren't standard wooden doors. They are made of heavy, solid iron bars. They are absolutely identical to jail cells, and there's a chilling historical reason for that.
See, the campus wasn't just designed to vaguely look like a prison. It literally was one. During the colonial era, this specific complex served as a major center for the Dutch colonial government. It operated as a holding facility used to torture and execute native prisoners. So when you lock that historical data point into place, the bizarre physical anomalies found all over the campus suddenly begin to make terrifying sense.
And this horrific past? It is baked right into the physical building itself. In the old building, the classrooms feature these beautiful vintage yellow tiles, but sprinkled across them are these irregular reddish-brown stains. It's dried blood that has seemingly seeped permanently into the stone, and the school literally tried everything to get rid of it. Step 1, they scrubbed and bleached the floors relentlessly. Nothing. Step 2, in total desperation, they laid down a brand new layer of tiles right on top of the old ones. But step 3, to their absolute horror, the reddish-brown stains eventually bled right back through to the exact same spots on the brand new tiles above.
But it's not just visual, right? It's completely visceral. When students sit on the floor during activities, they constantly report an unmistakable, permanent metallic scent just hovering right above the floorboards. It's this distinct smell of rust and blood. It's basically a lingering sensory echo of the executions that took place on the exact ground where teenagers are now sitting around studying math and literature.
And you know, the trauma of that history doesn't just quietly sit in the floorboards. It actively patrols the grounds. Take a standard evening theater club practice, for example. Imagine it's 8 p.m. The distinct sound of heavy marching boots starts echoing from the dark field right outside the auditorium doors. At 8:05 p.m., a student named Donnie assumes it's just the school's marching band practicing late, so he opens the door to investigate. Boom. By 8:06 p.m., Donnie slams the door shut and retreats completely pale, hiding his face. Because he didn't see the student band out there, he saw a platoon of colonial-era soldiers marching in tight formation, and none of them had heads. Now, the reaction from the supervising teacher in all of this is just pure dramatic irony. The teacher, Pak Siraji, turns completely pale but immediately snaps, "Enough, enough, there's nothing out there. Let's just focus." You've got an educator desperately trying to maintain academic normalcy and forces students to focus on a theater script, while a literal phantom platoon of headless soldiers is marching right outside the auditorium doors.
We have to realize something absolutely crucial here. These paranormal sightings aren't just your typical random spooky occurrences. They are the historical data of colonial brutality bubbling straight up into the present day. The headless soldiers, the unerasable bloodstains, those metallic scents, they directly map to the documented torture and execution of native prisoners on those exact coordinates. The history here simply refuses to stay buried.
So the haunting gets so active that it literally can't stay a local secret anymore. In 2006, an international TV crew for a documentary program called Ghost Hunting Asia actually arrived at the school. And they didn't just show up with a couple of flashlights. They brought high-tech pseudoscientific gear. We're talking infrared cameras, EMF meters, digital thermometers, and an entire team of professional translators and paranormal experts. The stakes for the school suddenly went through the roof. which honestly creates a totally fascinating administrative dilemma. The school couldn't refuse the crew because the local government had already granted the permits, hoping to boost local tourism. But the school administration was terrified of going viral for the wrong reasons. So, put yourself in the principal's shoes. How do you hide an actively haunted historical site from a high-tech international TV crew that is specifically there to look for ghosts?
So, how did they handle it? Well, hilariously poorly, to be honest. The school enlisted the student council to run interference, which results in this incredible clash of perspectives. As the TV crew enters a bathroom with those iron cell doors we talked about, the foreign host immediately notes a heavy, overwhelming scent of jasmine. Now, in local folklore, jasmine is the signature scent of a spirit, so the crew starts freaking out thinking they've made contact. But the reality? The student council had literally just been in there frantically spraying jasmine air freshener to cover up the smell of the old plumbing before the cameras rolled.
But, the school couldn't cover up the whole shebang. While they're all standing in that exact same hallway, the entire foreign production crew, the students, and the teachers clearly hear a phantom woman crying. The sound is echoing directly from inside a bathroom stall that the students had just physically verified was completely empty. The host of the show immediately wanted to send the cameras in.
So what on earth is the school's desperate countermeasure to stop the cameras from capturing this sorrowful, supernatural wailing? The teachers literally ran to the PA system and blasted loud, upbeat, traditional dangduk pop music throughout the entire school corridor to drown out the ghosts. Imagine the sheer absurdity of it. You have a high-tech ghost hunting crew trying to record a phantom only to be interrupted by a lively local dance track. But here's the crazy part. It actually worked. The crying immediately stopped.
But okay, the absolute climax of this investigation, that happened later that night in the old auditorium. As the crew moved to the center of the wooden floor, their equipment just went completely haywire. So what exactly was triggering these massive electromagnetic spikes directly beneath their feet? The sensory escalation here is just off the charts. The crew is standing on the solid wooden floor, and their EMF meters start blaring with these rapid bip, bip, bip alerts. The digital numbers are skyrocketing. The team's paranormal expert actually drops to the ground, stating that they're sensing an immense, trapped energy right beneath the floorboards. It was as if something, or a lot of somethings, were stuck right below them. And guess what? They were historically dead on. Beneath that auditorium is a sealed colonial evacuation tunnel. During the Dutch occupation, it was constructed as a hidden underground route and potentially a dungeon right beneath the floor. And the school had literally nailed the floorboard shut so nobody could open the hatch to go down there. Those massive energy spikes the crew was detecting, they were hovering right over this sealed tomb of colonial history.
See, you might be asking, why on earth was it nailed shut in the first place? Well, because of a single, terrifying number, 500 meters. Years prior, two curious students actually managed to pry open the hatch and went down into the dark tunnel. And they vanished, just completely missing. Days later, they were found wandering near a train station exactly 500 meters away from the school, which perfectly matches the distance of the underground tunnel. The chilling part, both students had total amnesia. They couldn't remember who they were, let alone what they saw down there in the dark.
Right as the TV crew is standing there debating whether to pry the boards open to see the tunnel, a single, loud, inexplicable clapping sound, like a slow echoing applause, rang out from the dark, empty space right beneath the floorboards. It was so startling, it essentially ended the shoot on the spot. Now actually, scratch that. A student council member later tried to claim he clapped to distract the crew, basically following the principal's orders to hide the weirdness. But he later confessed to his friends that it wasn't him. The applause definitely came from below.
Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, this is all just ghost stories and glitchy equipment, let's look at some cold, hard mathematical evidence from our main student source, Arif. This is the breakdown of his senior yearbook photo taken right there in those very classrooms. Present students, 32. Present homeroom teacher, 1. Total people in the room, 33. But when the photos were developed and printed,
The visible figures in the final photo came out to exactly 34.
This 34th figure wasn't just some weird shadow or a lens flare. It was an extra student seamlessly blending into the back row, wearing the exact same white and gray high school uniform as everyone else. The posture was completely normal, but the face of this 34th student was completely blurred and distorted. It looked as if they were vibrating or somehow out of phase with reality. The class was so disturbed by it, they flat out refused to use it and had to completely reshoot their yearbook photo.
So we've seen the beautiful architectural facades, the stubborn bloodstains, and the undeniable photographic evidence. This colonial past refuses to be tiled over. If the blood on those vintage yellow tiles can never truly be washed away, it forces us to ask one final unsettling question. What other dark historical secrets are still silently buried right beneath our feet, just waiting for the floorboards to be opened? Thank you for diving into this explainer with me today, and hey, keep questioning what you walk on.